You know, deep inside every single one of us, there is this incredible kingdom, a realm that's always beating, always pumping with life-giving power. We're talking about the realm of the heart, the most important fortress we've got. But, like any kingdom, even the strongest ones can come under attack.
So you gotta ask, right? When these forces of chaos start threatening to silence that rhythm, what do the protectors do? What kind of enchanted tools and ancient knowledge do they use to defend it? Well, let's find out.
All right, our journey kicks off by getting to know the basics of this realm and, of course, meeting the sworn protectors who've dedicated their whole lives to keeping it safe.
So this ancient knowledge these guardians use, it's called cardiology. It's basically the art of understanding the heart's own language, mapping out its huge network of rivers, the blood vessels, and mastering all the skills you need to heal it when things go wrong.
Now you've got two main types of guardians here. First up is the cardiologist. Think of them as the wise sage, the detective who uses their deep knowledge to figure out what shadows are creeping into the kingdom. And then you've got the cardiac surgeon. This is the valiant warrior who literally goes into battle, performing surgery to fight the threats to the heart head-on.
So, what are these threats exactly? Well, in our story, we're going to call them the shadows of disorder, these dark forces that try to weaken the kingdom from the inside out. Let's take a look at a couple of the usual suspects.
One of the sneakiest threats out there is heart failure. Now, this isn't the heart just stopping all of a sudden. No, it's a slow, gradual weakening. Just picture it. The giant pump at the center of the kingdom starts losing its power, and it can't send that life-giving blood out to the rest of the lands anymore. The whole realm starts to fade.
And, the enemies don't always attack the same way. Some, like coronary artery disease, build these nasty blockades of plaque inside the kingdom's highways, the arteries, just choking off the flow of life. Others go after the very gates of the heart. With heart valve disease, these super important doors don't work right, and that just causes chaos with every single beat.
Okay, so to fight these shadows, first you've got to see them, right? You need to know what you're up against. And for that, the Guardians turn to their seer's tools, special instruments that can reveal the heart's deepest, darkest secrets.
The most basic tool, but a classic for a reason, is the stethoscope, or as we're calling it, the listening horn. By pressing this to the chest, a guardian can actually hear the music of the heart, that rhythmic lub-dub of its valves, the rush of blood. They're basically eavesdropping, listening for any weird sounds that might signal trouble.
But just listening, well, that only gets you so far. The heart's rhythm is actually powered by this hidden force, an electrical song that tells it when to beat. To really get what's going on, the Guardians need something way more powerful.
And this is where things get really cool. The electrocardiogram, or ECG for short. This amazing machine doesn't just listen to the heart, it reads its electrical soul. It picks up those invisible signals that make the heart beat and turns them into a language we can actually see.
And what you get is this incredible script of waves and spikes, traced out on paper or a screen. And believe me, this isn't just a random squiggly line. It's a super detailed story where every peak, every valley, every little space tells you secrets about the health of the kingdom's core.
So how do you actually read this thing? Well, you can think of it like decoding ancient runes. That little P wave at the start, that's the first spark of electricity in the top chambers of the heart. The big QRS spike, that's the powerful squeeze of the bottom chambers. And the final T wave shows the heart resetting for the next beat. Get this, if that first P wave was just missing, that would tell a guardian that the top chambers aren't firing right. A clear sign of trouble.
All right, so you've found the problem. Now what? Time to fight back. The Guardians head to the Armory of Life, where some seriously powerful tools are forged to battle these forces of disorder. When the heart's rhythm just dissolves into total electrical chaos, which is super deadly by the way, the Guardians bring out the defibrillator. And here's a huge mythbuster for you, something you see in movies all the time. A defibrillator doesn't start a stopped heart. It actually does the opposite. It sends a huge controlled shock to stop the chaos, giving the heart a chance to reset itself and get back to its normal, healthy rhythm.
So yeah, think of it as a shock gauntlet. It's this incredible jolt of controlled lightning, a burst of energy that just silences all the noise and brings the kingdom's beat back from the edge of disaster. It's raw power, but used to restore order. Pretty cool, huh?
But hey, what if the problem isn't chaos? What if the rhythm is just too slow. Dangerously slow. Well, for that, the Guardians implant a cardiac pacemaker. This tiny little device is like a loyal guard, always watching the heart's rhythm. If it senses the beat is slowing down too much, it sends out its own little electrical signals to get the heart back up to the right speed.
And here you can see the rhythm keeper right where it belongs. It's implanted just under the skin with little wires or leads that go right into the heart. It becomes a permanent part of the kingdom's defenses, a silent guardian just making sure the beat of life goes on, steady and strong.
Okay, now let's see how all of this, the Guardians and their amazing tools, come together in a real head-to-head fight, a surgical quest to open up a vital path inside the kingdom. So picture this, one of the main rivers of life in the kingdom, a coronary artery, is getting clogged up by that nasty plaque. The blood flow is getting cut off and part of the realm is basically starving. The Guardians have to go on a mission to clear that passage, and fast.
This whole procedure is called a balloon angioplasty, and it happens in 4 heroic steps. First, the Guardian has to forge a path. They carefully thread a tiny wire through the body's arteries all the way to the blockage. Step 2, they advance their weapon, a catheter with a little balloon on the end along that wire. Step 3 is the big one, break the siege. The balloon inflates, squishing the plaque up against the artery walls and reopening the river. And finally, to make sure it stays open, they fortify the walls by putting in a stent.
And this is that fortification. A heart stent. It's a tiny, mesh-like metal tube that expands and locks into place. It basically acts as a permanent scaffolding for the artery, holding the walls of the river open and making sure that path stays clear for years to come. It's a pretty amazing testament to the Guardians' victory.
So when you boil it all down, these aren't just machines, are they? The listening horn, the rhythm keeper, the arterial scaffolding, they're like modern-day enchanted artifacts in this timeless quest to protect life. And this journey is far from over. Which kind of leaves us with one last big question to think about. As our knowledge keeps growing, what new marvels, what future magic are we going to invent to defend that vital beating realm inside every single one of us?